Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. I look a little rough and I probably sound tired because I just worked out, but you're not here for my beauty, you're here for the tips, I think. So we're gonna jump into talking about leg extensions because so many of you have been asking me about them, and I don't know exactly what types of extensions you guys are looking for. If you're looking for like leg holds, or you want to actually be able to hold your leg up without your arms, but I'm going to give you some general concepts and things that you can do at home that should help with either of those. I want to talk about stretching and break down some myths and some tips for stretching, and then we're going to talk about how you should actually be practicing your leg extensions and different types of exercises to work the muscles for them. If you're not already, please subscribe. I post new videos twice a week, and also like this video if the tips are helpful for you. Let's start by talking about some stretching myths. Myth number one that I know a lot of you have probably thought of before is that some people are just more flexible than me and I'm never going to be able to get my legs up. You might be a little bit less flexible than other people just by nature, but the good news is that if you work at it consistently, you can be just as flexible as anyone else. Let's talk about what's happening when you're actually stretching, because I think this is really interesting and maybe it will kind of take you away from that mindset that stretching is just pointless and you're never going to get there. This is a very dumbed down version of the actual science behind stretching, and I'll link some resources below if you actually want to learn about it. So the reason that stretching hurts is actually because you're putting your body in a vulnerable position. So what it does is it's going to contract the muscles and it's going to say, hey, stop, this is scary, by making you feel pain. It's called the myotic reflex, or the stretch reflex. It's basically just your body's way of telling you, please stop, I don't like this. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing, it just means that your body doesn't like it necessarily. But over time, you're actually able to control this reflex by stretching more often and by holding the positions for longer. And that way your muscles aren't doing any more of that contracting and sending out the signal that this is really bad for you. So I say all that to say, stretching is almost more of just like a mental thing than anything. And if you can slowly work through the pain, obviously don't push yourself too hard, but you can be just as flexible as anyone. Now, the other myth regarding flexibility and leg extensions is that all you need to do to be able to get good leg extensions is just stretch more, because that's really not the case. And I talked about this in my video about leaps, which I'll link and you guys can watch that after if you haven't already. Getting your leg up there, yes, if you stretch, that'll help you do that. But you have to actually have the strength and work through the range of motion to be able to keep it there. So that's where all the strengthening and the practice comes into play. I'm going to show you a few exercises and talk about a few things that you should be doing as you work on your leg extensions, so you're working in a smarter way to actually get the results that you want, because that's what it's all about, right? No one wants to waste their time sitting in their splits every single day and then not being able to actually do a leg extension. So let's stand. So just to demonstrate the idea of needing the strength is, let's say that I am flexible enough to pull my leg up here by my ear. But if I don't have the strength in this hip flexor and in my psoas, when I let go, what's going to happen is it's going to go down because I'm not able to hold it up. So you need to work on strengthening those little muscles to be able to keep it there. So you can work on going from a passe, lifting your knee up, only lifting your knee, and then bringing it back down. And you should start to feel your hip and your psoas engaging, and that's what you should be feeling when you're holding your leg up, right? Really watch that you are actually using all of your turnout to do this though, because if you're only letting your turnout go right here, and in reality I can actually squeeze and turn out a little bit more, that means that when I bring up my knee and I extend, I'm starting to feel it so much in my quad muscle and like really only in my hip flexor. Whereas if I pull it to the side a little bit and I'm using still only my natural turnout and I'm lifting from there, I really don't feel this in my quad at all anymore. I'm only feeling it in my hip, and from there I extend and bring it back in. So that also applies to the front. What I see a lot of girls do when they're doing their front extension is maybe they're like turning this hip under. So if you look from the side, it looks really not great, right? What needs to happen is that you're rotating under, and then from there lifting. If you're not using your rotation, you're just working against your body, okay? So another one that you can try is just getting two surfaces, like two chairs maybe. You're gonna go into a kneeling position, bring your front foot out, and make sure you're really using your rotation. And that's what this floor exercise is really good for, is just to feel that rotation. And you're just gonna lift and down, and lift and down. Make sure you do both legs, but that will really get you to start feeling how your hips should be rotating, and it should be doing that to the side as well. For the most part, in most things in dance, rotation helps you to get your legs higher. And that brings me to talk about your Arabesque extension. So let's just stay in a tabletop for right now, and I'm gonna show you. If I keep my legs parallel, so my foot is parallel to the floor, and I try and lift, I can't really get this higher than 90 degrees. Like, this is very difficult for me right now. But if I simply use my turnout, I feel it's so much easier to get my leg up. And so really make sure that you're utilizing your turnout in all of this. I think a lot of you are just not working smartly. You're just trying to pull your leg up and get it there as quickly as you can, and you want it to happen right away, but that's not really a smart way to train. So the things that I've mentioned, which are like slowly and consistently stretching, working through that range of motion and fixing your issues with your body positioning and gaining the strength, are really what's going to get you those beautiful extensions for many, many years. If you go at it the other way, which is just figure out a way to get your leg up there and hold it, don't really worry about your technique, then yes, you might be able to get it quickly and it looks okay, but in the long term, you're honestly risking a lot of injuries and you're not gonna be able to sustain that very long. When you practice with the right technique and you just go step by step in the foundational levels, you build yourself up, and then even if you take a small little break later on and you're not dancing for a little bit, you're still just going down a little bit. So like with me personally, if you've been on this channel before, you know that I tore my ACL, and there were a few months where I really couldn't dance and I wasn't like actively practicing leg extensions or anything. And then now, look at me. Easy peasy, because I used to practice with such good technique that now I'm slowly just able to get back into it and it's not a huge deal. I hope that that kind of helps answer some of y'all's questions. I know this video is a little bit short, but I didn't know specifically what you guys were looking for. If you haven't watched the video I made about leaps, you should go watch that one because it does give you some other exercises that will help with your leg extensions and your leaps. So if you want to watch that video, you can click right here. And otherwise, I'll see y'all in a few days.